Hi, this is Tim with Shop Tool Reviews. Stick around in a few moments and see if the way we use this DeWalt doesn't get you fired up. So this is the DeWalt DCF622 Versa-clutch adjustable torque screw gun. This is part of DeWalt's 20 volt max platform, and it also has their brushless motor technology. Now, a couple of features of this screw gun is the quick release, the quick chuck release here that locks that chuck in place. And also you have your depth setting on the screw gun here of where you can set the engagement or how much countersink depth you want in your screws. So if you're running drywall or if you're running screws on a sheet metal roof or what have you, you can set that. So you can see here I've got it set pretty low and that clutch is engaging right away. Whereas if I set it a little deeper, obviously it's pretty strong, it's not going to stop. Now you also notice that bit is not spinning when I just pull the trigger, because it's that's the point of this Versa-clutch system. Until you engage it by putting pressure on it, it's not going to spin. So that's the nice thing about, you can also use the lock-on switch here, where you can pull the trigger, lock that on, and until you put it on the head of that screw and put pressure on it, it's not spinning. So you can put your screw in there, run it in the sheet metal roof or in your drywall or whatever you're using with it. Now, you also have the LED that shines up on the bit or on the fastener as well. And you have this rubber overmold here, which does give the tool a nice grip. Now, we use this tool in a little different scenario than typically. Like I said, typically you're seeing this with drywallers or, sheet metal roofing guys or guys running some type of sheet metal screws. But in this case, this is a kiln maker. This is actually Jen-Ken Kilns in Lakeland, Florida. And the Glotfelty family, Randy Glotfelty and his family, have owned this business for well over 25 years. And they make kilns for the artisans, for the clay makers, if you will, for fired clay and so forth. And they built a very nice kiln. They use a lot of stainless steel. And when they're running in fasteners, they're using basically self-tapping screws that are running through bands of stainless. And it's not too thick, so they need it to spin fast enough and to be tough enough to run that tip into that stainless, but then not so tough as once the screw grabs and the head bottoms out, they don't want to strip it out in that single layer of stainless, or then they're having to follow it up with a bigger screw. So what they're using now, or what they were using prior to, was the corded version of this tool. And so what you didn't have is you didn't have portability. Also, you didn't have a light with the corded version, and might I say this is a pretty old version that they're using as well. So I wanted to put this in the hands of Randy and see what he thought. And after using it for a couple of days, he really thought that he liked the tool. He really liked the fact that it's light. He said he'd tried cordless versions before and they seemed very heavy, and they seemed to either have too much power or not enough power, or not have the clutch setting good enough to be able to finesse it where they needed to be. But he said he found that with this clutch system, after a few times, he could actually get it dialed in where he needed to be, so it would run those screws in, but then it wouldn't strip them. One thing he just had a small issue with is the fact that putting this tool down, it gets front end heavy very easy. And when it's around his fired bricks and things for his kilns, those are very fragile. And so a bit like this with a tool like this falling over and hitting that could damage that. It's not a big deal, because he said on his corded tool he lays them down anyway. But he said he just has a tendency on a cordless tool like this to want to set it down like that. And as you can see, it is front end heavy. He said that really wasn't a knock on the tool, just something that he noticed. And that really doesn't apply for any other industry than him. And I don't believe there's a lot of kiln makers in the U.S. anymore. So probably a very rare circumstance in his circumstance. Now, this tool, you can see the groove around here. And really that's made, most of these guys grab these guns like this and use one of these fingers to actually pull the trigger, and kind of that's where they hold it. And that's why you see the odd shape of this. But if you're needing a tool where you need to set the clutch at a setting where you really need to finesse it, or you really need to fine tune it to set that counter depth of that screw, this is a great tool for that. This Versa-clutch system is a great tool. Check it out. It's the DeWalt DCF622. You can find them on Amazon. I think the bare tool is $199. The tool with the 2 batteries and the charger is probably going to run you around $350 or a little more than that. So check it out. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Have a great day.